Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first showing of Board Meeting, our new Twitch show here on Serious Play, where we focus on board games and other kinds of physical interactive media that we play at a table. This is so shocking, I know. I would like to, first off, just thank everybody for coming and tuning in today.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being here.
Yeah.
What, us or them?
Everybody.
I think just all.
Thanks to everybody who's
all-
watching right now
all
because we
Yeah.
really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
totally.
This is great.
So we're gonna go around the table and do some basic
Do you want to explain
introductions.
what Serious Play is, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, Ryan. So Serious Play is a digital humanities collaboratory that we have here at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where we stream video games, tabletop games, D&D, various other things, now board games, and try to discuss them and engage with them in an academic capacity in order to kind of bridge the gap between the entertainment value that streaming brings and the possibilities of academic discussion that it can have. As a group of graduate students here at the university, we come from various walks of life, different levels of experience in academic education, and of course, areas of focus. So in order to kind of talk about that a little bit, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Dave Stanley. I'm a first-year PhD here in the Cinema, Media, and Digital Studies program at the university. Media, Cinema, and Digital Studies. We call it Plan H, just in case we say that a lot.
Yeah.
In the English department here at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And then our official chairman of the board for this week is going to be sitting to my left, Ryan House.
So happy to be here. I'm Ryan House, second year PhD student, also in Cinema, Media, and Digital Studies.
Yeah. I'm Chris Olson. Do I say
If
last
you
name?
want.
Chris Olson. I'm like my 5th semester in the PhD because I screwed up somewhere down the road and I'm still stuck here. But I'm also media, cinema, and digital studies. My concentration is mainly like cult media.
Cool.
With a focus on cult cinema and I also like write a lot about professional wrestling. So and I'll probably talk about it a lot too.
Hi, I'm Desiree. I am a second semester MA student here in Plan H.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hey, I'm Janelle Malagon. I'm a first year PhD student here in the same plan.
Woo.
Right.
So we don't all come from different walks of life.
Well,
We do. I mean, I don't know. I got my master's in English literature.
Right. I
I
mean,
grew up in a turtle bowl, little fish bowl.
Right.
And,
I mean, that's fair.
Daredevil knocked over some things, and then I grew with legs.
exactly. That's how it all goes.
So you were Gamera.
Legs,
So
They do have legs. They grew though.
that might be the thing.
Very muscularly.
Today, we have a very exciting thing to do, something that we have not really gotten to do in the past, and we're going to touch on something that's kind of new. So I'm going to hand it over to our chairman of the board, Ryan, for the day to kind of walk us through what are we doing today,
Okay,
Ryan?
yeah, so we are going to be playing the brand new Ninja Turtles Change is Constant adventure system game from IDW Games. This just came out last week, at least. That's when I got it in the mail. It was a Kickstarter game that, God, I think it's been in production for close to 18 months. But we just got it full of minis and all of these good things. And we are going to be playing the introductory campaign. It's a series of 3 little sort of battles, right?
May I just interject something real quick?
Absolutely.
Because you mentioned that this is a Kickstarter game.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that right now Kickstarter seems to be the place for board games.
Totally.
There are
Definitely.
so many like board and card games that are looking to be funded, and they all look really innovative and fascinating, and they're all from like people who might not otherwise develop board games. Like one of the board games that Janelle and Dave and I looked at the other day was a game called Rap Gods from a group called Board Game Brothers, because they're trying to get more board games designed by people of color out in the world. So just if you're interested in board games and something beyond like what you see with Parker Brothers and Hasbro, hit Kickstarter because there's a lot of great stuff out there.
Yeah. This game is about I don't want to say people of color, but turtles of a color. They're green.
Mutants of color.
Mutants of color. Yeah, so things have changed quite a bit since the first sort of iteration of this Ninja Turtles game. A lot of things are similar. Particularly, one of the really interesting things about this adventure system is the die system, the action die here. At the beginning of every turn, we're going to roll these die, and they sort of can dictate what we can do in our action, right? We can attack, we can move, we can defend, or we can do range attack or cheat, which we'll explain that later. What's really, really cool about this, though, and I think it fits really well with the turtles in particular, is that we share die, right, to sort of simulate working as a team. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if I were to have this, Janelle, you would get to share my defense, and Chris, you would get to share my dual katana, right? So you always have 5 die total that you can use.
So I'm assuming the way it works is like the person on your right and left get to share?
Yeah. Okay. And in this version, they give us these handy little tokens here so that we can pass them to players so that, you can sort of have it lined up here to see what you have going on, just in case anything gets screwy. Okay, so I don't know, how should we do this? I guess I want to sort of maybe explain briefly what the turns will look like, and then maybe just sort of jump in and we'll take care of any weird stuff as it comes up. So, the beginning of the turn, and we're looking at the cooperative mode here, we'll roll the action die, of course, arrange our action die like we want them, and that's where we're going to decide, if you happen to not roll any shields, then I'll definitely want to share a shield with you. We'll shuffle the initiative deck, and that determines our order and the enemy order. And then we start playing, right? We'll flip over a card. Let's say Donatello goes first. You'll use your actions, and then play will continue. Using actions, let's talk about that. On your die, each action is your die, right? So you can essentially take up to 5 actions, right? If you use 1 die for each one. The action on the die can't be split or anything, right? So, for instance, movement is going to be, you get 1 movement action. Okay. So you'll look on your card to see your movement under the foot, which is, I think most of us are 3. Michelangelo's 4. Oh. So for every skateboard that you have showing, you can move 3 spaces.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And typically that is going to be 1 space per turn, but we'll get into terrain, which can be a little bit complicated. You can't split die, but you can combine die. So say you had 2 skateboard die, right? You can move 6 all at once, or you can move 3 and then attack and then use your second skateboard for 3. But if you had a dual skateboard, which I'm not even sure that is a thing, but let's say it is, cool. Michelangelo has one. So if this were up,
I don't know if anybody can put that in the camera for me.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it's an idea.
If you rolled that, you would have to move all 6. Mm. If you moved 4 and then attacked, you would just you would be wasting
You
those.
would lose the other 2. Got it.
And the same is for attacks too, right? Sometimes you have dual attacks. You can combine attacks for 3, but you can't split this into 2 separate attacks.
That makes sense.
Okay. And then the same for ranged. I guess we can talk more about the die, right? So we have Shuriken for ranged attacks. Shuriken! We have Turtle Shell for defense. We have the skateboard for movement, the katana for melee attack, and then this yin yang for what's called chi. And chi is really interesting because it lets you regain focus, which helps you do moves and or re-roll a die if you'd like to. And you can roll a battle die to heal a little bit. And maybe even best, if you roll that after you do those other things, you get to choose what side you want to be up. Right. Okay.
So Ryan, how would you characterize our broad objective today? What are the turtles trying to do?
So, I mean, that's really, really interesting, right? In each of the scenarios, we're going to have different goals. So some of them will be to maybe KO leader. Some will be to maybe attack everyone before they get away. Some might just be to survive or get to the end of the to the board, right? To a goal on the other side of the board. So, once we get into the sort of the nitpicky specifics, we'll talk about goals.
Perfect.
And what we're trying to do. Okay, let's talk about terrain then, because we're talking about movement a little bit. You'll notice on the back side of the general terms and icons, they list a lot about terrain. I think right now what we'll have to deal with, well, it looks like most of it is here. I think because it's the sort of introductory campaign, they really want to throw everything at us. So you'll notice yellow, that indicates that it is slow terrain. It costs basically an extra movement to move into. Red is rough. It will end your current movement, but for instance, if you had 2 skateboards, it might end the first one, but then you could initiate with the second skateboard. Elevated terrain, the blue here. Elevated terrain is really interesting in terms of strategy. It is adjacent. If a figure on elevated terrain is considered to be adjacent to a figure directly below it, but vice versa is not true. In fact, Donatello would be considered 2 spaces away from the foot soldier there. In terms of line of sight, which is going to be really important for ranged attacks, line of sight is going to be from the center of one square all the way to the center of its targeted square. Line of sight does not go through elevated terrain. So this guy is in line of sight of all the turtles, but this guy is not, because their line of sight goes through that space of elevated terrain. Blocking terrain is in black, typically just walls or things that you can't move through. Of course, that breaks line of sight as well. Yeah, I think that just about covers it for what we're going to be doing today. Let's talk about orange. That's unstable terrain. You can move into it, but you can't end your turn on it. And if for instance you started here and you weren't going to make it all the way through, you would have to end before you got onto it. You'll notice the lines here. There are certain terrain moves that our characters can do, and I think that is on the flip side of the terrain color here. Yeah, at the very top there, terrain moves. Anytime you see the arrows, that's you can do a grind, right? So it takes 3 move icons to do a grind, but then you would get to attack every enemy sort of along the way there.
Okay.
So take into account your surroundings when you're trying to think of what you want to do for your moves. Okay. So let's talk about the enemy movement real quick before we start in the turn.
Okay.
Enemies are divided into leaders and minions. Right now we have a leader, Alopex, who is a snow fox who was created by Shredder.
Interesting.
To help the foot. She becomes a good guy later, but right now she's a bad guy. And everything else is in this one is a minion, right? Leaders are going to get 3 movements in the cooperative, or 3 actions. I think Alopex can move twice and attack once. Everyone else is going to get 2. They can move once and attack once, or they can attack twice.
Okay.
The way that they'll move is we have this initiative deck again. We'll flip it over. Let's say the gunners will move, right? The gunners who are already in range to make an attack will all make that attack first, right? And then it will go to the gunners who have to move, and then they will go in order of their proximity to the closest target.
Gotcha.
Typically, they're always going to target the closest hero, one of us, right? In case of ties, you'll notice on these, let's see, the Foot Ninja and Alopex will target the enemy with the lowest health, and the gunners and the brawlers attack enemies with the highest health. And that's in case of a tie. In terms of
proximity.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't talk about ranged. Melee is pretty self-explanatory, right? You go up to an enemy, you want to use... Actually, maybe we should talk about it. Let's say you have, these guys here. You'll move up to an enemy. You'll say, okay, I'm going to attack the gunner here, right? Using my 1 katana, right? So I get my 1 katana plus my attack strength, which is 1. So then I get to roll 2 of these black die. I could also just go ahead and use all 3 of my katana to give myself 2 more die, right? I'll roll them, and I'm looking for these hits. That was actually a fucking awesome roll. So I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the gunner. In the competitive mode and in the old version, the enemy would then also roll to see if they get any of these blocks. That would deduct your number of hits, right? But on the cooperative, they have, let's see this, they have a shield sort of just of 2 already.
Okay.
So we'll deduct 2 from my, what was it, 6? So I hit him for 4. He has a health of 1. So yeah, like he would be
just murdered the hell out of him.
Just a miss.
Straight up murdered.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same way with the ranged attacks, but ranged attacks are a little different in that they are ranged. Sorry. So ranged attacks can't be made if you are adjacent to an enemy, right? So for instance, well, actually that would work because he's 2 away there, right? And he has line of sight. But
if he were down,
let's say he's there, right? I couldn't make a ranged attack on that enemy, and he couldn't make one on me because we're adjacent. In order to do that, he needs to be at least 1 away, and optimal range is 2 away. Anything after that, you're going to deduct the strength of the attack per square that it's over 2, right? So you would roll normally, but then you would say, oh yeah, he's 4 away or whatever, so it's going to be the roll minus 2, right? The total range minus your 2 free squares. Does that make sense? We'll get
It will when we start
I
playing.
think it will.
Yeah.
so
Yep.
Veggie Walker in chat mentions that figures only become active when they have line of sight.
That's true. That's true.
Which both encourages stealth gameplay and prevents the entire group from just rushing you all at once.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks for bringing that up. One other thing that I want to mention, maybe before we get started, is crouching and ducking. No, crouching and going into cover. There are certain. I think it's on the other side, actually. Yeah. So under status tokens here, and I've given you some. This is cover, and whoops, this is ducking.
Cool.
You can duck behind, for instance, maybe the bench. I know there's particular you can do like crouch behind cars, and that's going to take you out of the line of sight, right? Anyone who's on the opposite side of that can't target you because you were crouched behind something. Cover. We don't have any cover pieces right now, but in the next map we will. For instance, trash cans can be used as cover. If you are on a square that is green, I think, or that can be used as cover, you automatically get +1 to your defense. You can use, I think it's a skateboard, a movement, to take cover in that terrain, and then you get another +2, so a total of +3 defense for anything that's on you.
Invisible Syllable says, just a clarification, ranged attacks can be made if an enemy is adjacent, but must target a non-adjacent enemy. So if a ranged attacker were here, they could still shoot at a non-adjacent enemy, even if they were adjacent.
Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. Of course, yes. And probably, I think even rules as written should target something else besides just the turtle who's in front of them.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to get started?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's roll our action die. Oh, well, actually, let's set the scene. Yeah. I'll get into
Set the scene.
What's the
So another really awesome thing about this game, this carries over from the last game too, is that it's all sort of written like a comic book.
Oh, that's cool.
So each scenario sort of starts with a brief little introduction, and then you get into it. Oh, I'm not in the screen. Sorry.
There you go.
Right, and then it's set up here. Okay, so welcome to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures Changes Constant. First stop is the tutorial campaign. These battles are, this is all just sort of meta stuff. Okay, Battle T11. Tutorial 1-1. Something stinks. Out for a night on patrol, the turtles notice something fishy in the subway station. Alopex and the Foot have gathered some of the local thugs. Are they sparring? Break up their little meeting and find out what's going on. Okay, so the rules: Leo, Raph, Donatello, and Michelangelo are recommended for this battle. That's the turtles we have chosen. Villain figures do not spawn during this battle. So it's just the dudes who are on the board. Strengths, hero skill modifiers -1. And the villain's focus is 3, but we don't have to mess with that because in cooperative, villains don't have focus. The objectives: the heroes win if Alopex receives a KO token, so we need to get her down to 0. And the villains win if by the end of round 6. If we don't do it quickly, they win. And then we'll talk about what happens if we win or lose later. Okay, so first we will roll our die and choose our special move. Because our strength is -1, our skill modifier is -1, we will only take I believe it's the number under the cards here, -1. Please correct me if I'm wrong there, right? It'll be this number -1, and that's for our special moves. Special moves, we didn't talk about this, but special moves have requirements, costs that you spend based on your die, and you can only use one special move per round. You'll choose the ones that you think you might want to use, and the rest are just out. We don't get to use them for the rest of the
Chat confirms you are correct.
Cool. We don't get to use those for the rest of the scenario. Okay.
So spend some time familiarizing yourselves with your special moves.
Yeah.
So you have an idea of kind of what your repertoire of actions are.
And so it's the number under the card icon -1. Was that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so you'd only get one.
Yeah.
So you get, like, I would get 2 special moves? Is
Right.
that how it works? Okay.
Right.
Well, I want that one.
Donatello and Leonardo each get 3.
And on the card, so like would this mean that I would have to roll
You'd have to roll a
that
skateboard.
to be able to use that?
Yeah, and instead
Got
of
it.
moving, you would use that.
Got it. Thank you.
Invisible Syllable says Mikey wants low blow for Alopex, probably.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
I can use those 2 then. I will use low blow and I'll throw you. Those will be my special
Okay,
moves.
sounds good.
Because I'm an old school X-Men fan, and the fastball special was always my favorite thing.
Hey, man.
so
Totally.
If Mikey can do a fastball special, I'm gonna do it.
Apparently Alopex is very dodgy.
Yeah.
Thank you,
quite the
Veggie Walker.
agile fox. Okay. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Out of my die.
And we just do all 3 of them.
Yeah, do all 3.
All right.
I'm not terribly happy with my shell. I don't really want to start being too
Defensive.
so I'm going to spend a focus and re-roll it. Yeah, I got a katana.
And now, can you explain this to me again? It's like,
Yeah,
I rolled
okay, so
one of
that's the
those.
chi. So, unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything right now.
Okay.
Because you have all your focus, you have all your life, but you get to then just choose whatever side you want to
So I
face
can.
up. Yep.
Okay. So I think probably do another attack, I guess.
And we should sort of communicate with each other based on, like thinking about what others have and what others might need. Raphael needs movement, right? So, like, if someone could share movement with her, and I can, I'll do that.
So can
So you might want to grab your icon for the movement and put it on one side to remind yourself that you have it.
Just to clarify, when we share moves, could I share something with Janelle, or can I only share with you 2?
Only us.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just
Just
wanted to make sure.
the player to the left and the right.
Okay.
Oh, we have a gunner out of place. One that I picked up.
Oh no!
This one.
Oh no! Yeah.
Dave?
Thank you so much.
My bad.
Thanks to Chat for keeping us honest.
Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate it, Chad.
I'm just gonna glare at you now.
I know.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry, everybody.
Okay.
Doing my best.
Okay, so,
So I have movement, and then a ranged attack, and then a melee.
yeah.
Okay.
And then how's Donnie doing? Oh yeah. So you get to choose whatever you want
okay,
there.
Cool. Going to do that.
2 cheese on the first round. We'll probably never get them again.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, maybe give Janelle your movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like you could choose whether to give Chris / Michelangelo your melee or your ranged. I would say probably ranged because we're not like right up into this shit yet.
Yeah.
So like the more ranged we
So
have. the better.
then,
Yeah.
do I share my ranged with her then too, or how does that work?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like whatever,
Okay. So
You both kind of have the same thing there.
So I should have picked another ranged then, is what you're saying, when I flipped this over.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I think having sort of the, I think having the variety is
Okay.
good, right? You might throw a star and then run up on somebody and attack them.
Well, I plan on throwing somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
right.
because I got that move.
All right. So I've got a shell and a
Excellent.
skateboard to work with. Okay. So well, let's.
So hold on,
Okay.
because
Oh yeah.
I want to make sure that we know what's going on.
Okay.
So I am getting movement from you,
Yep.
correct? Am I also getting movement
Yes.
from Desiree? So I should flip this over and have 2,
Uh,
just to keep track of it, or no?
Not quite.
No. Is there
Because you wouldn't be able to split that, right? We'll just give you another
Okay.
dude there.
that works far better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So then what should I be giving you, or?
you're giving me shell, which
Okay.
works out, like
Okay.
because that has defense, right? Unless you don't want, well,
I mean,
yeah, you could roll a spin of focus to re-roll that, but I think it works. And you're giving Desiree ranged.
okay.
Okay.
Do you have a? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that was from Chris.
Okay, so
So then you have a second.
you were like ranged out. You have all the stars,
And so
Star Master Desiree.
I'm getting ranged from
Heck yes.
Desiree.
and you're getting ranged from me.
I'm getting ranged from you.
Yeah,
as
if
well.
you need more, there's a baggie
Yes.
here with. I tried to give us a little collection,
That's right.
but it's already proven to not be.
You guys could
It's a
just
very good
empty
point.
that bag onto the table, kind of in
Yeah,
that spot
that's-
there, so
yeah,
people
that's a
can
good
just
idea.
grab them as they need to. So
Yeah,
Invisible
that's a good
Syllable
idea.
says, "This is the part where you make a perfect plan, aiming to execute a flawless assault, Steel Team 6 style." And then the initiative deck says, "Nope."
Oh.
All right, let's see who goes first. The Thug Gunners. Yeah,
All
you
right.
called
Right.
it.
Bring it.
Okay, so yeah, and chat, please let us know if we mess this up. This is the first time any of us have played this. The Thug Gunners then we're going to have 2 actions. They can move and they can shoot. And like someone in chat already mentioned, if they can't see us, then they're not going to activate right now.
So since the black outlined things here are pillars,
Yep.
which block line of sight, the only Thug Gunner who has line of sight should be the one on top of the train car, yes?
Should be this guy right here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Veggie Walker says Shane Lewis has great cell shaded paint style. We're checking out, and only one gunner sees you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I saw that the cell shaded style on Facebook.
Looks so cool.
Today or yesterday. It was really, really great.
All right, so how do we do an attack from the Thug Gunner?
Okay, so they're gonna I think be pretty lazy. They're only gonna move as far as they have to be in range, and they want to be in optimal range, which is 2 squares away, right?
Okay.
They are on elevated terrain, so in order to get down to the bottom, they can either jump, which could hurt them, so they probably won't do that since they are really, really weak.
Okay.
Or they could spend 2 movement to climb down, right? Which what's their movement? 3?
Their movement is 3.
So they could move. I mean, yeah, they'll probably
Climb down and then
right?
move 1 in order to be in range. Move their 2 to climb down and then 1 more.
Actually, I would like some clarification on that from chat. Right? Is this optimal range or
Optimal range for gunners is 4, says Invisible Syllable, and they
that's
don't
right.
need to move, says Veggie Walker.
Yeah.
That's right, because read the card here. They're eagle-eyed.
Oh yeah, Eagle-Eyed. Thug Gunners calculate targeting priority and perform ranged figures as a group. This the targeted figure receives hits equal to the combined hit attribute of all Thug Gunners with available actions who are within line of sight. That figure may then roll defense as normal. Thug Gunners' ranged strikes do not weaken for the first 4 spaces.
Cool. Yeah, so he won't move at all. He will just start firing. I think Michelangelo is going to be the taker of that bad news, though. In cooperative, the enemies aren't going to roll the die. Instead, they will just do a 1. But you still get to roll defense, which unfortunately you don't have any of. So never mind.
No shells.
No shells. No shells showing. Maybe I should have kept that shell in shape with you, but I didn't do that. Okay, so you were going to take 1 hit. Oh, everyone has pizza
Correct.
rolls here,
What do
right?
I-
Make
what do I
sure
do with
pizza
this?
rolls.
So I was gonna say.
Make
Are
sure
they
that you have.
tortillas?
Oh my god, is this my health?
That's your health.
That's
Yeah,
the best
absolutely.
in my
So
life.
you were at 11. You want to roll it down to 10.
This is
No,
amazing.
sorry, you're at 12.
Yeah.
Donatello's 11. Roll
So I'll be
that
at
to
11.
11. Yeah,
All right. Which I was at.
Yeah.
So.
you already knew.
I
Okay.
had a
Oh my God, he's
feeling.
so beefy. 13.
Well, he is Raphael.
He's a street turtle.
So beefy.
He grew up on the streets.
You got a meat pizza because of how beefy you are.
All right.
Okay.
Thug Gunner is done, so we will move on.
Dunzo.
All right.
Raphael is next. Awesome.
Alright.
Janelle, you're up.
Okay, so then should the priority then be to take out the one guy who has line of sight,
Yeah.
Who
presumably?
can possibly kill me?
Yeah.
Correct, which I'm like not interested in. So
Thank you, Janelle.
I'm here for you. So what would be the logical move here? Would it be to do range attack? Because I am in optimal range, is that true? No.
You aren't in optimal
No, I'm
range.
not.
In fact, you are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because
Five
the
away.
gunner didn't move, doesn't he get to shoot twice?
Oh shit, that's.
Oh no.
Stop hurting me!
I'm sorry.
I don't think.
I think Veggie Walker says the gunner shoots twice.
Shoots twice.
Because
Okay.
I think they
Sorry.
get 2 actions.
But not the same target, yeah? Different targets? Or would you shoot the same target?
Well, we'll see what chat says in a second.
Thank you, chat.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat.
And then
You'll feel better when
Zion
chat gives you
Lion
health back or
666 says, "Don't heroes always have a base defense? Same target, and don't heroes always have a base defense?"
Oh, do they?
Is
Do
that what
you?
this
Is that a
eight
thing?
is?
No, that's in case you fall down. If you go low, you have to like
Okay, so
basically get healed back up.
they
to
do
80
shoot the
something
same
like that.
target,
Okay.
but do heroes have some kind of base defense? Chat, help us out.
I don't think so.
What would it look like? if they did? Defend. Is that
Because
what
I don't
this
see
is?
like a shell or anything.
Base defend attribute. It's
Oh.
this. So yes.
Ah, cool. Okay, they do.
Okay, they do have base
Wait, where are you?
defense.
Which one is that?
That is
So it's the
the.
third icon from the left.
Okay,
That's high.
so it's a 3.
Okay, so you don't take any damage then.
So low key, whoever made this, thank you.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
Should we maybe,
It's so good.
because we have this base defense, should our pizzas have started off maybe like 3 more or whatever it is?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I
No,
think
that's
this
gonna,
is
that's
just
almost like
consistent.
like armor, right?
Okay.
It has to exceed 3 before it hurts
Yeah,
you.
that's okay.
That's how many die you roll. You have to roll their defense, says chat. Caption
okay.
here.
God. Yeah.
That's okay.
So-
Thanks, chat. We really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
totally.
So then, do I try to roll now, like, or do I re-roll?
Re-roll. Or no, roll the black die.
Roll the black.
Yeah,
die.
and
Roll
then
3 of
You
those.
roll 3 of those
Got it.
to see if you get that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, chat.
I defended.
Cool.
So you got
Okay.
2 shells. Now, do you roll? Chat question: do you roll your
No.
defense per
Just yell.
attack?
Per attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So he'll roll again. Go ahead and roll.
So
your
roll a second time for the second attack you're receiving,
Okay.
because the
The
gunner's
same
shooting
guy.
you twice.
So the first attack I defend.
Yep. The second attack
You defend.
Defend.
you
it
defend.
again.
Okay, great. So
Get 'em.
Awesome.
gunner shoots twice. You defend.
Wonder Woman.
You're in good shape.
So good.
Awesome.
And you
Okay.
can use focus to re-roll on defenses as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This
Cool,
is
cool.
excellent.
Okay. So
Okay.
so now, Raphael goes.
All right. So I feel as though either I can move toward them or I can try and hop up on that thing or intend to.
Yeah.
It's not obvious. I don't know what I'm doing.
So-
So I'm
So
reading the room.
normally elevated to elevated would be you would have line of sight, right? Even
Right.
from like back here to back there.
Right.
But because there's a pillar here, that would break line of sight.
That's a good point. It wouldn't for those guys, but secondary concern.
Yeah. It depends on where you were here, but yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, my thinking is that I will probably bum rush that cart and try to get
Just
up on
go.
them. Yeah.
Okay. So then in that case, I have these 2 skateboards. That gives me 2 movement, right?
You have 3 movement per skateboard, so 6 total.
Okay.
And you can
take
split
3
them
and
up.
3 because they're not on one die.
So here's my question then. Would it make sense for me to go up here because there's a guy here and we can't share space? Question mark.
I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you would sort of be blocking anyone else coming up that way, but.
That's fair.
1, 2, 3. It's gonna take your whole movement to get up there.
Just to get up. Yeah.
You can move diagonally too. I don't know about that.
Oh, I.
Yeah, you can move like a queen in chess.
So the yellow terrain costs an extra move per square to move through
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
That's right.
It's
'cause
slow
Slow
terrain.
terrain.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Okay. So. Does it cost an additional 1 to get into it? So it'd be like 1, 2 just to enter.
Yeah.
3, 4.
That's correct. And then 5 on the way
Then
out.
you know what? Then I'll just.
Yeah, that'd be 6.
This would be the 6 here, and then I'm still safe. Where I am.
Alternatively, you could jump there using one of your things and doing a jump move to move 3. Land there, and then you would still have 3 movements to move. Is that correct? Is that correct, chat?
Do I want to do that though? Because won't that leave me vulnerable for when they get their second attack turn?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. I mean, whatever.
He's
If I'm-
trying to sacrifice you as well.
I mean, if I'm the beefiest
Oh.
one here, then like, let's go.
So you can move diagonally. So you
Yeah.
can go 1, 2, 3, 4 to move diagonally like that, and
That's
then you
true,
could
so
move 1 more
4
forward.
to just get out of this area, like get out of the slow terrain, just be here.
Yeah, that would also put that pillar between you and the gunner
Right. So
to
then
make sure
I'm out
that
of sight, and I can just be here for basically the next
Yeah,
move.
Yeah,
it
that
does
seems-
block anybody else from using that way.
it's true.
Well, we're just gonna kind of play it and see
Yeah,
what we can
I feel
do.
like let's
Totally,
just
yeah.
do it. Is there anything else that I need to do with these remaining?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can use all of them, but you don't have to.
Okay.
And I mean, like,
I don't think I
guess
can-
you can.
So what
Yeah,
is
not really.
range on a turtle ranged attack?
That's a good question.
Everything in 2 is fair game, and then after 2, they
Okay.
drop off and attack.
So, but because of the elevated terrain,
Mm-hmm.
she can't. She
I
has no
can't.
line of sight.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
have no idea.
okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. So I think Janela's done.
Mm-hmm.
We do have line of sight on this guy because he's elevated. We don't have to. Line of sight doesn't go through the elevated square.
Right,
Right.
gotcha.
Okay. So like Michelangelo and maybe Leonardo can attack him. I don't know. That would be tricky. We'd have to like get a card, I think. But
Okay.
Michelangelo could for sure throw some ninja stars at him.
Okay.
Okay. So your turn's done.
I'm done.
Okay. Leonardo leads. Okay, I have also 6 movement. I'm going to take 2 to get up here, and that's one of my die. Let's see.
So caption here says after 2 spaces
2.
for a ranged attack, you subtract 1 hit per space of distance.
Yeah.
And that is a hit rolled from combat dice.
Cool.
Mikey has 1 free move that ignores terrain effects, so he can climb for free.
Oh yeah. Make sure that you're reading your special
Yeah.
card. After action dice are rolled and any rerolls are made, I can trade 1 action die belonging to any friendly hero.
Climb costs 2 skateboard icons, says invisible syllable.
Oh, it costs the icons, not just the movement points. Woof. Okay, well I will do that, and that will just be my movement then.
Yes, the icons, says
Okay.
caption here.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, and I think I will end my turn there too. Before I do anything crazy.
All right.
The brawlers.
Okay.
So
So that
far as I can tell, no brawlers can see us.
well, do these 2 guys have line of sight on you?
No,
No.
because they it's going through.
Oh, the lower part of the elevated terrain.
And I think the pillars are blocking this guy, maybe both of them.
Yeah, the pillar's definitely blocking that guy. Yeah, it looks like they're blocking both of them.
But yeah, in any case, because I'm on the back half of the elevated terrain, they can't see me.
Perfect.
So they're just whistling Dixie, and I guess they're like, huh, gunshots?
What's that about?
They got the little question mark popping in one of their heads.
Huh? What was that noise? Okay, Donatello then.
Oh, that's me.
It sure is.
Roll.
Hello.
I'm ready.
All right.
So I have one skateboard, so I can move like one yellow square, right? Or
Yeah.
one.
What's your movement? 3?
Yeah.
Or all of our movements 3 except Donatello. Michelangelo has 4. So yeah. I mean, essentially, you can move into.
Yeah, you could move one square into the yellow. You could move over a square and then into the yellow, or you could move diagonally into the yellow.
So it's just to move into the space. I think once you're in the space, you can move normally. Is that
The
correct?
chat had said that it costs 2 movement per square,
Per
you
square
move through.
okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because you would be moving into another yellow square by doing the next
Makes
round.
sense. Yeah.
So if I was in this square, I'd be like out of line of sight, right?
Yeah, because this pillar here would
Yes.
block line of sight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally.
So I will do that. My guy.
Boink.
Radical.
Nice.
All right.
Cowabunga!
Michelangelo.
All right, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Because my thing on the card here, it says I'm nimble. So in addition to that, being able to, let's see, during his turn, Mikey may move 1 space for free, ignoring all non-blocking terrain effects
Yeah.
and breakaway rules.
Yeah.
And terrain moves cost Mikey 1 less move icon.
Cool.
So does that mean that I'm not necessarily affected by the yellow?
For one movement,
For one
you
movement.
wouldn't, and then after that, you are affected by 1 less.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, for yellow.
So that means that if you ran into a more serious type of move, you could ignore the first one and then take a reduced penalty following that.
Totally.
Okay. So do you think it would be better for me to just like throw some throwing stars at that gunner guy?
I mean, you could throw throwing stars and then move too, right? I mean, you might want to get closer.
You want to get closer so you
Yeah.
don't take the fall off,
Yeah.
the damage fall off.
Okay.
So yeah, never mind. But yeah,
So maybe I should move like here and then throw stars at him?
I think
Is
so.
that how we want to work it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes
You
sense.
have up to 4.
Yeah, up to 4 for movement.
Yeah.
So you
But
would
if I move here, I wouldn't be
You
able
wouldn't
to...
be in line of
yeah,
sight.
you wouldn't
Right.
be in line of sight, exactly.
So I think I should just move here. And then I'll throw some...
Caption here says no.
No. You would want to move all the way up because because this counts as 2 spaces away from elevated.
Okay. But then I don't have line of sight. So I can't throw things.
You would have line of sight because your line of sight isn't going through the elevated terrain. Like it's like looking up and
Looking
seeing
up,
somebody
okay.
looking down on you.
Caption
right?
here says Mikey is still affected by yellow. A terrain move is an action like climbing a building. He uses 1 skateboard instead of 2.
Got you.
Plus 2 distance because the hunter is on elevated terrain. So the deal would be is that it would be 1 square over and then plus 2 for being elevated, which would put him at 3. Is that right, Chad?
Right now he's at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you move 1 more, you would be at 2.
So I wouldn't be able to throw anything?
No, you
Or
would.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
It would
let's,
be.
let's do it then.
Okay.
Move me there. And
Yeah.
then I gotta roll... What do I roll? So which one's the attack? Is it the little butt there?
So no,
Yeah, I think it's a fist.
it's the
two
number of
fists
squares
and
distance,
turtle
and then it
bites.
adds 2 more for elevation. So right now he's at 3, says Chad. He was at
Oh,
4 last time.
Okay, I see. So you're still at 3 then. So you'll have a little bit of drop off.
So you'll take
but-
1 damage of drop off.
So I think what I would do is roll
After.
all 3 of your ninja stars at once, right? So that's going to give you 4 die.
Okay.
You'll get 1 per ninja star and then your base.
Okay.
And then you will,
That's-
one of your hits, if you roll, say, 1 hit, you'll do nothing. If you
Yeah.
roll 2 hits, you'll do 1 damage, etc.
Okay.
Not bad. Yeah, no, not bad. Oh wait, yeah, kind of shitty because he has shield. So like, yeah.
I
So
tried.
you
tried.
you did it 2. One of them you lost for elevation, and the remaining one got soaked into his shields,
Yeah.
meaning that you accomplished no damage.
Right.
I tried.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's close.
yeah.
Maybe I scared him. You don't know.
We're learning the rules. We're
You
making
totally
things work.
scared him.
That's totally how it
Totally
goes.
scared.
So did
Now
I
you
take
could-
damage then?
No, you
No,
don't take it.
you
Okay.
could also spend a focus point to re-roll if you want.
It's true. Or yeah.
Is that a focus point per die?
No, a focus point for any die.
So
At least I believe that's the way it was in the original game.
Okay.
Right. So you could spend a focus die and roll 1 die, 2 die, or all your die. Sort of Yahtzee rules.
So I spend a focus point,
and then you could re-roll the 2
and
shields.
then just put the focus point here for now,
Yeah.
and then re-roll these.
Spending a focus allows a re-roll once per roll.
But for multiple die, if we choose.
I think so.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
think so.
We'll see what chat says in a second. But go ahead, Chris.
Should I or should I?
Yeah,
wait?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, why not? We're learning.
And it's
Okay.
So,
Any
And
number
you
of
do-
dice on re-roll,
Yeah.
yes.
I thought so.
So,
And you have to take what you reroll, so whatever.
Alright.
It's worth a try.
hey, it's good.
Yeah.
Doing the
Okay.
best we can.
so next.
Probably nothing's gonna happen here, right? Foot ninjas can't see us yet, even though this dude that is freaking out in front of him. Chad, does that do anything? And Alepex doesn't do anything because she's busy.
She's not active.
She's
Yeah.
busy.
Let's turn these guys around. Like, why are they even on guard right now?
That's true.
All right.
She could be doing like a
They're all having a little
dance.
coffee clutch.
They're having a little party.
Okay, so that was
for
the
them.
end
Good for
of the round.
Don't you just hate
Now
the
we can
shredder?
re-roll.
I cannot believe that guy.
We can re-roll our action die and get those all
Okay,
set up.
I get the idea.
I will.
Holy shit.
What'd you get?
Let's go. Bring it,
Mikey,
nerds.
I'm gonna avenge you.
You punched my
I'll get my focus back. I don't need health, but I will roll. I'm gonna move. I need movement.
I have movement I can share.
Cool. I'm gonna share movement with
So-
Raphael.
Invisible Syllable says, might as well use focus because you're likely to roll some chi next round and regain it. Veggie Walker says, sneaky turtles. And then Invisible Syllable says also, or you bug Donnie to give you one of his focus.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm good.
turtles
Yeah,
can
that's my
share
thing.
focus.
Well,
Oh,
Donnie
snap.
can.
Yeah, I could.
Oh.
Oh, that's
my
his,
smart
that's yours.
thing.
Cool. And you
Not a
have,
big
yes,
brain.
you have
So
some to spare.
this.
I just want to let everybody know real fast, we have 25 viewers right now.
Wow.
Woo.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
tuning in.
watching,
Great,
everybody.
really, really awesome to have everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.
All I have to say about that is cowabunga.
Also, thank you for
Alright, yes,
the
I'll take movement.
the follow.
Can I get?
And you
Yeah,
get
some
take a sweet,
movement
sweet
from
movement,
you.
my
I'll
guy.
take
Can
it.
I please have a throwing star?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have shows
Wait,
most
okay.
every weekday. I think most are.
Are you giving me one of these?
Yeah,
Okay.
you get a
So,
star. I
and-
need a movement from you, I suppose.
Invisible Syllable says that Donnie has an end of round ability, so make sure we pay
Yes.
attention to doing that at the end of rounds.
And then you're giving me a star.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm ready.
Donnie, do you need
Carrie
Would
says-
you rather have a
Oh,
star
can I take
or
a
my
sword?
double katana?
A sword,
maybe?
yes.
I'm gonna give you my double.
Okay, so I get a sword from you.
You get a double sword.
Double sword. And you get a
Sword.
sword from me.
Heck yes,
And then-
my guy.
Can I... What is the one with the sword in the
It is-
shell?
it's
That's a
sword
block
and
and an
shield.
A block
attack.
and an
I
attack.
presume.
I am the
May
entire
I-
new Pokemon games. I need both at once.
May I borrow
so good.
your...
Yes, you can take a sword and shield, I
A
suppose.
sword and shield?
Everyone
It's
deserves some
sword.
Pokemon as
So,
a treat.
so Chris, your
So
I
Dave-
partner,
love that.
says that you need to bring her flowers.
Oh.
Carrie
Carrie's
says,
watching?
Yeah,
Hi,
she
Carrie.
says you
I
need to
love
bring her
you.
flowers.
Hi, Carrie.
I have to bring you flowers?
Have to bring flowers.
Okay,
That's how it goes, man.
I
You heard it
guess.
here first.
Yep.
All right. Are we ready for round 2?
Yeah,
I
let's
think
do it.
we are ready. Let's do it. Raphael's up for least.
All right, nerds.
Okay, so
I like
Veggie
fights.
Walker gives us a
Okay.
piece of advice.
Yes.
Mikey could
Thank
climb
you.
up the train for free and kill both the guys on the train.
Whoa.
So we should think about doing
I'm gonna
that.
murder the shit out of those guys.
Get 'em.
Murders.
So I'm into that plan. It does mean that if I'm assuming that those guys are dead, I'm wondering why I'm hanging out in this corner by myself. So if that's true, if that is the plan,
Yeah.
what is our second priority that I can
I mean, you could jump up on top of that and start
and
raining
just come wreck Doomfist over here?
ninja hell down on
Yeah, I'll do it.
Iron Fist.
All right, bring it, nerds. Okay, so then the logic here.
This is what you get for cultural appropriation.
Okay.
Says the ninja Brooklynite.
Okay, so I want to see if I can actually get this right. So if I'm hopping up here, does this take 2 movement? Is that correct?
It takes 2 skateboards.
2 skateboards.
Oh, it's 2,
so
so
you will use
straight
all
up,
of
that's
your movement.
it.
But that's yeah, not great.
Yeah, I'm like, hello. I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna be here. Yeah, exactly. That leaves me in a not excellent position.
I mean, I think that's a great theoretical move to have Mikey kill everything, but maybe it doesn't work. So you could hop up and then just
like,
oh fuck, you don't have any melee though.
Well,
no,
but
I don't.
If you hopped up here, like you could range attack.
You
That's
could range
yeah,
attack the
I
gunner.
just ranged that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, how am I supposed to get up there when he's right there?
You can move diagonally.
But there's the pole there. So can I still get up?
yeah, you can move past
okay.
it.
Sneak back.
Just making
Yeah, I think the implication was that you would move into this square and then
I am nimble.
cut
If
both
it's
those
D&D
guys
rules,
out.
then this is 5 square feet.
Okay, just making sure. I'm just
Okay.
making sure.
And
All right, so then
who knows what it
that's
is.
the plan then. So I'm gonna hop up and be like, "What's good, losers? What's up?"
Word for
For
word.
somebody who doesn't like know Raphael, you're like really captivating personality, which is great.
Okay, so what's good, nerds? And I'm gonna fight this dude here. So to do that, I need.
So decide how many of your shuriken you're gonna use.
I mean, I don't need any other ones, so I'll just use them all.
Okay, so you're gonna use all of them plus your attack, so you get 5 black die total.
All right, cool.
So there's 4 there, and then
All right, so,
there's 1 there.
so I need
One more.
one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're looking for the strikes.
Doesn't get him. Straight blocks the whole way.
Wow, that was
wow.
straight blocks.
I
That
just
might
need
be
to
a good
focus
time
on-
to spend some
Yeah.
focus.
Just do the thing.
Just 4 though.
Just-
leave your 1, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Raph can only attack the gunner because it is catty corner to the ninja. Perfect.
I love
You.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
the rasp pose where he's just like,
Okay, so
I like to
these
think he's
4.
All right, so that's 4 damage against the gunner. The gunner can block 2, which means the gunner takes 2 damage. That gunner is toast.
Yeah.
Get
Hey,
wrecked.
first blood.
They drew first blood.
and suddenly the Parents Research Council is all over us for that cartoon.
Now, the thing that we may have done here is that I think both of those gunners now have line of sight
No.
on. Okay.
Because it's going through.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad.
Yeah, keep correcting us if we're wrong.
Yeah,
Chad.
please.
That just goes without saying.
Help us out.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this token that I spent.
Just hold on to it
Just
because you
keep
could
it.
regain it. But,
Yeah,
but keep it
put
separate.
it- put it somewhere like-
There you go.
Spent,
Put
but
those
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good round.
Successful.
All
Jamal
right.
drew first blood.
Leonardo is next. Okay, so I was gonna kill that guy.
Well, come kill the other guy.
Yeah, I think I might do that.
Or take out one of these guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of those guys might be.
I don't know if I want to use my action this soon. So yeah, maybe I won't do that. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna spend 1 of my movements to go here. 1, 2.
Oh.
And I guess I'm still. No. This just is 2 spaces away, right? Because elevated to lower doesn't count for extra spaces. So I believe I'm within good optimal range to rain
Movement is not so elevated terrain is not adjacent to low terrain.
range
So then,
strikes.
doesn't that mean that you have to spend an extra movement?
Range strikes elevated to low, no penalty. Normal range rules apply. So I'm just 2 spaces away from it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm only gonna get to roll 2, but maybe.
So, caption here and Veggiewalker say both correct. Optimal range, elevated is better than ground range.
So I hit him for 1. What's his? I mean, he's probably got something, right?
He's got 2.
He's got 2. So he blocks it, Wonder Woman style, maybe. Okay.
So, Ryan, 2 things real quick that I just noticed having read these. So, the Thug Brawlers begin the battle with 2 initiative cards in the deck, not 1.
Oh shit.
So, here's another one. You can just throw that guy on the bottom or shuffle or whatever makes sense.
Right?
And then I've paid attention to the rest of it. I think we're all in good shape.
All right,
I just wanted to
thanks
make
a
sure
lot.
we knew that.
Yeah. We had that question and we I don't know. It just kind of
we didn't.
It kind of fell off.
It wasn't in the
We forgot to
rules,
look
and
up.
then
Yeah.
there was a card.
Guys, we're learning.
We're learning.
We're learning.
I mean, but it doesn't really matter because they didn't do anything last turn.
That's true. So
it didn't matter.
it'll only matter this round.
Okay.
Yeah, those chumps.
So, I'm gonna. I'm gonna
do
jump
right
down. No, I'm not gonna do the actual movement jump. I'm gonna like move down, and I have to take damage for this, and I can't remember exactly how to do that.
I mean, don't you have 2 skateboards, or you already used one?
I've already used one.
Okay.
Yeah, Chad, if you could tell me about, I think it's 3. I think I have to roll 3 damage.
4 die of fall damage.
God
Veggie
damn.
Walker.
Okay,
Oh.
fine. I take 2.
Well, and don't you have a base?
It's not defendable.
Okay.
It's just going to be
Gotcha.
straight damage.
So Invisible Syllable says you should back up into cover rather than jumping down.
But I want to hit him.
I wants to hit him.
I want to murder something. All right, I'm going to spend my 2 ninja swords. So I get 3 total damage. Oif. I hit him
that's
for 3.
3 points.
I hit him for 1.
Yes, you hit him for 1 point, which means
right.
he is wounded.
Do you want to choose
Yes,
one of those and
you
just
got
sort of
it.
keep up with it? Well, maybe that's not a good idea because there's so many.
I can keep track of it.
All right.
I can keep track of it.
There is a bag
damage.
full of like little pizza pieces.
And
that
I
think
do
we
also
should
have
use.
a point counter on my phone if anybody wants to use
There's
it.
just so many. I think we should probably.
Yeah, here,
Okay.
we'll just
Yeah.
use one of these little... So just
Make it
put
work.
this next to that guy,
Totally.
because he, took a
He
damage.
took 8 damage.
And I'll keep track of
That's
these.
perfect.
Okay.
So Veggie Walker says yes, it is defendable. Manual says you can defend versus fall damage. So you get to roll the defense dice, your defense dice against that points
I'm
of
gonna
fall
argue.
damage,
I ain't gonna argue.
and take
Sounds
it.
great.
Thank you, chat. You're keeping us alive.
I know.
So that's 2 shells. You take nothing.
Yeah. Right back up. Thanks
Chat.
a lot, man.
Wahoo.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a very smooth jump. You guys couldn't see it, but it was cool.
See,
just
I
couldn't see
choose to
behind the
believe
pillar.
that
Yeah, right.
instead of jumping, you just walked up to the edge, just fell face forward, just flat on the ground, and then stood up and was like, I'm fine.
I just went in my shell and popped up.
It's all good.
I love being a turtle.
All right, who's
That's
next?
not what Leonardo sounds like, probably.
It'd be great if it was though. Hey guys, it's me, Leonardo.
I'm walking in.
I'm a turtle.
I need that reimagination immediately.
All the turtles is like
Amazing.
really old,
Amazing.
grumpy Brooklynites. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Oh, that's excellent.
Middle-aged mutant ninja turtle.
Oh no.
Oh, I can't skateboard no more. My back.
So I'm gonna move. That's 2 and that's 2 and that's 2, so that's 6. Which is how many I had.
No, not quite.
No.
Because you're moving in. You started here, right? Did you count this right?
No, she
She
started
was there.
here.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6.
5, 6.
5.
5.
Okay.
But yeah.
But you can't
go.
move
Yeah.
another one,
Cool.
so that
Sorry,
works.
you were right. I was wrong.
I know how to count. This is a big moment for me. Okay.
Someone in the
Second
humanities
semester.
that can do math.
Hey.
Invisible
Magical!
Soul says it's Leonardo leads, not Leonardo bleeds.
Oh.
I'm stealing that.
That's
I'm gonna steal
very
that.
good. Thank
That's
you.
excellent.
Okay.
Okay, are we good?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
You're gonna throw any? Do you have any
Unless
ninja
I can
stars?
throw something. Like I have
I don't
one
think you have
ninja
line of
star.
sight there.
Why not?
Because, like, center to center, it would go through this corner.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Oh,
point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think I'm good.
All right, cool.
Gunner.
Gunners.
So that
can
gunner,
see us now.
that gunner there at least can.
And he has a range of 4, so
Right.
he doesn't have to move. He'll go ahead and attack
Twice.
for
1
1 apiece. So,
one apiece.
Donatello, you get to roll for your
defense.
defense.
Yes. I also have the shell sword guy.
Cool.
So the shell can just block 1 damage just flat out, or
No,
give you
no,
another
you'll,
dice.
You'll add another die.
Okay.
Also, sorry, I didn't mention this, but some die have shells and swords and shells and stars. That means you can use them for both. So
Okay,
you
cool,
have
cool.
shell and an attack there.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So I
that means
roll
against
5.
1 attack.
So what's your defense? Underneath.
It's 4.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So 5.
And then
Rock and
does
roll my
That's
dice.
does she consume the shield rolling 5 against the first attack, and then that's a block for every attack she takes in the round.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
There's also another mechanic called, I think, like taking a defensive stance or something like that we can talk about, but I don't think it'll be necessary for this. Where once you take a hit, you can change one of your die to a shell to sort of
Question.
make yourself more defensible.
That gunner can target you. Don't gunners target the person with the most health? Isn't that their target priority?
I suppose. Well, he's further away from me, so target priority is always going to be the closest. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Both
chat.
chat says yes. The gunner on the left, with 2 targets with range 4, they use their secondary targeting priority.
2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess we are.
They're going to shoot you.
We're all in 4, so it is me.
Yep.
Sorry. I wish it were you because
Nope.
you have so much more. Oh fuck. You have so much more things than I do.
I really could have taken the heat, but alas.
Well, chat's trying to make sure that we're getting. All right. So that's 2 blocks against the first attack. That blocks the first
Nice.
attack, and then
Me again.
Just the
Yep,
one.
you again. That's a block
All right.
against the 1 hit, so you're good.
All
You're
right.
gold.
Awesome. Fantastic. Lovely.
Yee.
Thank you, chat.
All right.
Again, Leonardo does not bleed.
Any other thug gunners that can see us?
I
That
don't
seems blocked.
think
that seems
so.
blocked.
Let us know if you see any chat, but I don't think so.
Moving on, Michelangelo.
All right, so I'm able to get up on top of the thing
That's not new.
without using a movement, right? That was what they said. Like I can get up on the.
Oh, the chat says that all 3 gunners should be able to draw line of sight to Leo.
No kidding.
Really?
Oof.
We only have 2.
Oh, because
Yeah,
they can
this is
move.
the other one.
They're all if they all have line of
That's
sight.
right.
If they're active, so question chat, if they have line of sight on any turtle, does that mean they're active against all turtles? In which case, would they then move and attack?
That's a great question.
I think that would make sense for what they would do. We'll give chat just a second to.
Am I missing a gunner? Like we only have 2.
No, there's only. I only see.
Yeah,
One,
'cause I killed
2.
And you killed one.
Oh yeah, we do
Yeah.
have 1 gunner dead.
So like this guy. Oh yeah. That would be line of sight. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
I think it
So,
would be.
So the one that could attack without moving would have attacked. This guy would have attacked in order to get into line of sight. Actually, I don't even think he has to move.
Yeah, no.
He's 4 away from
Yeah.
me. One.
Yeah, I think diagonally he's 4 away from you, so he just
Okay.
attacks you.
Yeah. Look at the way this guy holds his gun. Like, what a fucking moron. It's like, I love John Woo movies.
He's going for a kill shot. We've seen it.
Well, he hits that one. It was a sneak attack.
I was gonna say we met.
Yeah, sorry.
Move her out.
And then for his second one, he misses that one.
Okay. So chat says they always move toward the turtle in line of sight unless they're in optimal range.
Okay.
But I agree that they have line of sight on you there, so.
And then I guess if another turtle became in line of sight in that movement, then their
Which their secondary
target
targeting
could.
priority would take over.
could take over. Okay,
All right. So now,
now Michelangelo.
am I correct? Because the chat said that I can get up on the train without spending a movement, right? Is that what it was?
No, you can move 1 space for free, or your train moves, which is the climb, takes 1 less
Okay.
icon. So you could just spend 1 skateboard to get on top.
So hang on a second.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, we're just learning a lot. The Thug Gunner's Eagle-Eyed powers has other things that come into effect here.
Jesus.
So there's 2 Thug Gunners who are attacking, right? They're both
Right.
attacking you.
Right.
Thug Gunners calculate targeting priority and perform range strikes as a group. So they always attack the same target once they've figured out who their target is, if they can shoot the same person. The targeted figure receives hits equal to the combined hit attributes of all Thug Gunners with available actions who are within range and line of sight.
So what does that mean?
So, I think...
Means you did.
Instant.
You did.
Oh no.
So each attack would be a total of 2 then?
Yes, I believe that's the case.
And they would each get that.
Yes.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
each of them would get 2 attacks of 2, I think, is what I'm reading right.
So shit.
And I don't think he
Should
didn't
I
need to
re-roll?
move.
I know the first one I biffed completely, so I could take the 2 there. But maybe I should Wait. So they're gonna attack. They're gonna attack me 4 times because they each get 2.
I believe that's correct because they're both at 4 from you. I
They've
think
got
that they
2 guns
both.
each.
That's true. I really should have jumped down here.
I mean, chat told you to retreat to cover, so
they did. I didn't listen. Okay.
All right, I think that makes sense. Are we good now?
Well, do you need to roll that second one?
So
should I re-roll? I think I'm gonna take the hits from the first one because I remember rolling nothing but hits.
Mm-hmm.
So I take 2 hits there, right?
I believe so.
That sounds right.
What I want to do is invoke that.
But I think we only have 2 gunners, chat. Because I think we killed the 3rd gunner. There's
We
only
did.
two.
We only
there's
rolled
just this many and that many. No, yeah, just those 2 minis are gunners. Just making sure. It's like, I got like 4 different people talking to me now, so that's okay. Well, you know what we'll do? I'll sort it out with chat for a minute, and
Okay.
like we'll just take another action and we'll go from there. So go ahead, Mikey, and we'll work that out.
I'm just waiting to see if anything else happens. So, are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Should I resolve the extra attacks, or are we just gonna move?
I think I'm gonna work out what chat is trying to tell me and let you know what to do, and then while Mikey's taking his action.
Okay.
Okay.
So one thing, caption here says Mikey can use his free move ability to move up or down elevated terrain.
Cool.
Okay, that's what I thought they said.
Yeah.
So I can get up on the train, and then I still have my movement.
Yeah.
And that's so I would roll like I don't have to roll. I just get 4 movements, right?
Per skateboard.
Right.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, should I just like get up here and move over here and just like try to take this dude out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, really, you don't have to move because you're still adjacent diagonally.
That's true.
Well, I thought he was toward the back of the train, so I wouldn't be able to see.
Once you're up,
Oh, okay.
once
Once
you're
you're
up on
up there,
top of the
doesn't
train,
matter.
you're gonna be
Okay.
diagonal from it. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then you would still have both of your movements to spin.
Well, see, but if I okay, so I can kill him and then
And
use
then move
movements
Instead
Got
of
it.
moving and killing him, moving and eating
Got it.
basically 3
Okay.
movement points.
So I can do that, and then I have all this. So
Yeah. So if you wanted to just do that all in one attack, you would get 4 die. 3 from the swords, 1 from.
So maybe I should just try to get him with the 2. Like use that.
Yeah. So he has 2 health and 2 shields.
What would you want to save that last sword for?
Well, I do have this also because I'm sharing this
I
with
see.
Donnie.
Okay.
So I have this one and this one, and then I could employ this one.
I would say use 3 of them, and then you still have
Yeah.
that backup
Okay.
one in case anything.
So 4
yeah.
is what I have.
Nice.
Nice. That guy's dead.
So yeah, you'll hit him for you kill him.
Yeah, no, you
Just concussed him and murdered him.
honestly, now I just look really surprised. Whoa.
Damn.
So then I could use my movements, get down here, and try to take this guy.
Oh my god, are you?
Or, like,
are
smack
you,
him.
Are you
You-
double smacking right now?
Yes, you could, but then like it
I
will
mean,
be
you're
an
gonna be
entire
in just
round
a
until
world of trouble.
you can do anything, which like I've learned is not a good move.
Yeah. So maybe just hang out.
Warily jump down.
Yeah, I don't think
from
it's so bad. I
experience.
don't think it's a bad idea. You'll have your extra movement. next
Or
time.
I could do this. I could move one over by Raph, and then on my next turn I could chuck Raph at that guy.
Yeah.
You can
If you-
throw me. What?
Yes, I have a thing called I'll Throw You, and I can choose a friendly figure who is adjacent to Mikey, and that figure leaps up to three spaces in a straight line.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yes,
That's
let's
the
do
fastball
that.
special.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So I'll use my movement to move 1 here, and then on the next turn I'm gonna
Hell
chuck
yeah.
you.
If you go
This is
first,
so
which hopefully that happens.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay. How we
Hell
doing, Dave?
yeah.
I think we have
That's what's
worked
up.
it out.
Okay. What do we need to do here?
You were attacked 4 times
Okay.
for 2 hits per attack.
Okay.
And chat, having done calculation, thinks you took 1 wound from all of that based on your rolls. That is what
Wow.
you got. 2 blocks on the first roll before,
Okay.
and then Invisible Syllable thinks you took 1 wound. So that's, I'm gonna go with them. They seem to know the math.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Gaming via the Panopticon. Nothing escapes the eye of the camera. Thank you. That's awesome. Also, we're gonna do a game night at my house on Saturday. Can you guys?
Can you guys come,
Yeah.
can you
Watch
come
it
down
really
there?
This is like the closest a board game can be to a video game. Where like,
Question, Invisible
Yeah.
Syllable. If he gets 2 blocks on the first roll, can he carry those into subsequent attacks?
I would say no, but That's a good question.
Okay.
All right. Mikey's done.
Let's do it.
I guess so.
Thug brawlers.
So
All right.
the
So-
brawler in front of you is active,
He's-
and the other brawler in front of you should also be active.
Yep.
And I don't think either of the other. That brawler is not active because I don't
Right,
think he has
can't
any line of
see
sight.
it.
So
He
those
hears
guys.
maybe something.
can't see
he
what's
suspects
coming.
something is going on top of
Okay.
that.
He's
but,
wrong.
Like,
Whatever he
Okay, so Thug Brawler then doesn't have to
He's
move.
about to get Raphael.
He
just
will hit
shoved
me.
in.
For 1, I will defend for 3. And defend 1.
So you
don't take anything.
don't take anything.
No special moves there?
Nope. Their only ability is the extra initiative card.
Okay.
And then the other brawler needs to
He'll
move.
move, so he'll get. What's his movement?
His movement is 3.
So he gets 1, 2, 3. So that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Thug Brawler.
Yep.
I really did just kind of sneak that in. That's
Fine. You can shuffle it between.
pretty good.
So the guy in front of you is going to attack.
He'll attack me for 1. I'll defend for 1.
Also
Thank God.
1.
This guy will try to sneak around here, we'll say.
Yeah, he's going to go adjacent there. And then
but
he
now
will attack the
has-
character with the highest health between you and Donnie. So
and that's
you
gonna
have
be.
you have 11.
I have 11.
Tied.
So what do we do in the case of a tie?
I think we just decide.
Wasn't there something about that? Didn't we say something about ties before?
I believe it goes distance and then alternative, and then you just sort of decide who they're going to attack. So,
I mean, you've been attacked a lot this turn, and I
Yeah.
really can take the heat.
I think maybe he's going to walk over and see you and be just like, ah! So, yeah, I'll let you roll.
Okay, so it's 5, right? Like we
Yeah.
decided last time I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going to
yeah.
get.
Right,
okay,
right.
cool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Does Chad agree with us there?
We'll see in a second.
Okay.
We are on a little bit of a delay, so
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing the
fair.
best we can under that circumstance.
And they still went. So,
So there's at least 3
defend for
blocks
3.
there. Yeah, you defend for enough. That should be great.
Okay.
Wahoo.
You sure can take the heat.
That's what I'm saying.
That guy just like spooky punched you and just like, no. Get out of here.
I was like, is this a game to you? Come on, dude. Take this seriously.
Just slap his hand away. Is this a game?
Okay. That was it?
Invisible Syllable says yes. We decide on ties.
Go. Alopex.
Alopecia.
Okay. Unfortunately, she is now in the brawl.
Oh, she is.
Let's read her card.
All right. Alopex may perform 2 move actions per turns. While moving, she ignores slow and elevated terrain. When Alopex is attacked, roll 1 battle die. If the result of this roll is a block, she evades the attack.
Cool. So she moves twice then and attacks once, ignoring slow and elevated terrain. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think she's gonna go towards you. What's her movement?
4.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
2, 3, 4.
4.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's a
She
split
targets lowest health characters.
now. Mikey, what's your health?
12.
Yours is 11.
So I think she's going to go after Donnie.
1.
All right, we might need to change plans and go help.
Throw you
Just
at
hurl
her.
elsewhere.
Okay, so here's a question: would she be super sneaky and jump behind you because it's in her range to attack you from an elevated thing?
I mean,
If that works,
1, 2,
I don't see
3,
why she
4.
wouldn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, because she ignores slow
Yeah.
terrain, right?
Yeah.
And elevated
Yeah.
terrain.
wow, girl.
Okay. She's gonna hit
There's
you for
something
2.
behind you.
You
She
still have
doesn't
your 5.
move through figures.
She doesn't move through figures. Okay,
So she has to move. So actually, she has to move around all of the figures back from where she started.
Oh,
too.
no kidding! She can't even move through her own.
she can just
Yeah.
ask them to politely
Excuse me.
scoot over a little.
3,
Or just like jump over them.
4.
I like the polite scooting.
Yes.
I am a villain, but please, I'm just trying to get over here.
I think that works. That seems to be
Yeah.
get her into range. Okay. And because it's +2. Oh, Veggie Walker says she can move through evil figures, though, just not through her own figures. Okay, I still think that puts her.
Aren't
She
they
can move
evil
through bad guys. She can't. So she couldn't move through
I see.
to get
Through
behind.
enemies. Okay.
And this would put her at 3 spaces, not 2, because remember it's elevation plus 1
You're right.
square, so she wouldn't be able to make a melee attack from back there.
I was playing the old game wrong, unless the rules changed. But anyway, all right, let's do it.
There's another one of these games.
Yeah, this is the second sort of iteration. The first one, this is the first adventure, which is going to sort of. They're making a Batman the animated series when it will feed into
If Carrie is still watching, you just
That's-
she's probably
Man.
squealing.
Also,
right now.
Currently
Ghostbusters.
she's-
And now she's also probably squealing.
Hello, Stay on
I think
Spoil.
Ghostbusters
Thanks
will
for
come out
coming
first.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, folks.
Oh,
Okay,
that
let's roll.
Stay Unspoiled is Pete.
Oh, hey, Pete.
Nice to see you, Pete.
Pete is a designer of the game.
Oh.
Glad that you could join us.
Hello.
We're honored to have you watch.
Tell us how wrong we're playing this.
Yeah. Chad is keeping us honest.
All right, so she does 2 damage.
So you're gonna do one.
You're gonna take
hit
one
for one.
wound
Which that's a
Okay.
boss here.
because you rolled
So,
1
yeah,
defense.
There you go.
It's just a
Go down
flesh
to
wound. Don't
10.
worry about it.
Okay, she moved twice. She attacked once. I think that's it.
And there's Leia. Hi, Leia.
Hello.
Yo.
Foot ninja.
Alright.
Okay, let's read the foot ninja. Let's see if anything.
In Europe, they're known as the Foot Ninja.
If there are fewer than 4 foot ninja on the board at the start of their turn, immediately spawn up to 4 more foot
Oh my
ninja.
god, could you not?
So there are currently
There
3
are-
foot ninja.
There are. Fuck yeah, because we killed one. Shit.
Right. So we're gonna get a lot more foot ninja right now.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not sure this is the case here because nobody spawns and like there's no spawn.
Oh,
points
that is
on
true.
this map.
Because
So-
we're gonna ultra fucking lose. if it's
Chat, can
true.
you tell us if that works that way or not? Because this scenario has a no spawning caveat.
I would say that it.
Do we spawn more foot ninjas?
Yeah.
So how many foot ninjas are active? While we're worrying about that, let's figure out how many foot ninjas are active.
Active is just the one.
No, I think they're all
No?
active.
Because I
This
think
one
that guy
sees
has
you.
line of sight. I don't think that one does. Oh, can he?
Oh yeah, he can see.
He can see
Can
you,
he?
I think.
Isn't it through the center? Because there's a pillar.
Well, it's the center here.
Yeah, no, maybe I don't. I'm not
That's
sure
like
he
some,
can.
That's some
I don't know.
curvaceous line of sight.
He's like, what are you guys looking at? God.
So
Why are you freaking out?
So Pete says we would top them up, but there's no spawning. So we
Okay,
don't.
that's what I thought. Okay, so this ninja then will move towards me.
Yep.
His attack is
2.
my defense is 3. I meant to change my die earlier to go on the defensive. I forgot about it.
Curvaceous line of sight is my new favorite.
So he hits me for 2.
Happy to help.
Their movement is 3. 1, 2, 3.
Carl's like, Steve, where'd you go? Steve!
Carl, fix your
What's
mask.
our call here? He can't see.
I'm gonna say no unless chat disagrees with us.
All right. Well, then, if that's the case, then it's the end of the round.
Okay.
All right.
So at the end of the round,
He
is
wrapped his
Donnie?
arms
so
around
let's-
his
I mean, I
eyeballs.
guess even if
Smart
he can't
points.
see us, he's
My
not
smart
gonna
points.
be able to
Chris
get close enough
only
to do
has
anything.
one focus, so you're just gonna have to wait.
Oh, I thought you had an end of turn thing.
It is an end of
Well,
turn
she can
thing. I'm
give a
just
focus.
Giving it to Chris.
Oh, I didn't know what it was. I was asking what it was.
Oh, sorry.
Where you're like,
Sorry.
don't worry, I'm never
Veggie
ever
Walker
gonna
agrees
ask for
that
focus.
We don't think
ever.
that one has line of sight.
I'm
I love how
sorry.
you just turtled just now.
That's an appropriate thing to do.
Exactly, that's what I was
Given
saying.
the-
So you're passing one
Yeah,
my way?
I'm a
Well, thank
focus.
you. You're the best.
Cool.
Now no one only.
Cool.
You're the best.
All right. That's the end of round 2.
Carl!
Stand around 2. So we have.
keep up with it.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of that.
We have 4 more rounds to kill this.
Oh,
Well,
God.
well, to be fair, she just put
Foxy
herself
lady.
in like this horrible position.
It's just wasn't smart.
It wasn't a great
Oh wow.
call.
Pete says I just added a villain to the next game that makes ranged strikes not in a straight line.
Ooh.
So that is a curvaceous. If you get the chance to add that to the
If
rules.
you could.
It
Oh, that
is-
would just make me so
is
happy.
Is it perhaps a kangaroo with a boomerang?
Oh,
Is it? I can't remember his name. Is it? I'm excited.
Veggie Walker recommends we should get some string or a ruler for easy line of sight checks.
Oh, that's a great
That's
idea.
a really good point.
So I rolled a chi. I rolled a hit die. I got 2 hits here. That means I get 2 points of healing. Question mark.
I think
Necessary.
that sounded right from what you told me earlier. We'll see if Chad agrees with us.
Also, any plans on getting Usagi Yojimbo in any of these?
Usagi Yojimbo is in this.
Oh, is
I
he?
just didn't bring him.
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Not only that, but they have Stan Sakai. That's not how you say it.
Stan Sakai.
Stan Sakai. Thank you. Models of the turtles.
Nice.
So
It's
yes,
nice.
on healing, and Pete says walkabout. Walkabout. Is it walkabout? Ryan is so excited.
It was my favorite turtle toy when I was a kid. Holy
that's
shit!
awesome.
It had like an eye patch. Okay, sorry. Get back to me on that.
Oh my god, was that this show? Because I've never really seen this show, but when I watched it, I didn't speak English.
I'm gonna be honest
so
with you,
it's just like, I don't know what's happening.
I am not 100% sure he was ever on the cartoon.
Okay.
I
I've
know
seen, like, some
Playmates
kind of-
made a figure, which he might have been like at some
Maybe
point.
that's what it is.
Are we agreed?
I thought so.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I rolled. I don't know what I should do here.
Okay.
Did you roll a cheat? Don't forget to heal. So you're gonna roll one of these dudes, and you'll get a point for every hit.
So you heal two.
I had 2 points. Do I
Nice.
get to go above max or no?
No.
Oh.
Pete says, and someone said you can move through
Brandon
figures
Club.
only if they're knocked down. Otherwise, you
Can I
can't
have this
move
from
through
you?
figures.
Not even
Huh?
not
Can I
even
have this
friendly
from you?
figures.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't have
That's
that
good to
from
know.
me.
Thanks.
No, how dare you?
Unless you knock down. I will remember. Holy shit.
It's okay. I'll
Hey, I
Don't
can't believe
ask.
you're doing walkabout, and I
Just
can't
for a
believe that I
fucking
like guessed it. All right,
I
cool.
can change this now, right?
Yeah. So you get to heal. You get a focus back if you lost a focus. And
well, yeah.
I gave it away.
I thought I did, but I didn't.
I'll take that.
And then you get to change it. So I've got a movement, a shield, and yeah, I think I'm
Swords.
Go ahead and do swords.
Yeah,
Did you
I
did you
stole
also
yours.
roll a cheat?
I did.
Sweet.
stole
So
your
I can
swords.
change
Cool.
it.
You want a sword then? Okay.
Have you taken any damage, Chris?
No, I'm at 12.
Great.
So yeah,
So
then
I
you
did.
use it to change it.
Whatever.
I'm
you
gonna.
want,
I'm
friend.
gonna.
Can you get a
do
movement
feel
off
like
you?
probably
Yeah.
I
need
have
a shield.
movement.
I'm gonna
How
give you a
many
shield then.
movement?
Well, I was gonna say I can change it to a shield.
I'm a bit freaked out because the main villain is
I
right
think-
in front
I
of
think
me.
a
It's
shield's
like-
a good idea.
I think
I'm
they're
right
gonna-
next to some shit.
I think
Yeah.
we're gonna throw me at her.
So
I'm
are you sharing your sword with me or
I'm
a
gonna
shield?
share your. I'm gonna share
No,
my
but
shield.
actually,
Share a
that
shield,
might
yeah.
work.
It's a
Oh my
mouthful.
god, that's so
It
exciting.
is.
Okay.
So I have movement and a
I'm
shield.
Oh.
Which would you like to share?
Can I get some
Shield over here.
movement?
Yes. Grab a movement.
Yeah. Single movement or double movement? Can I
And
take a double
then-
movement?
What's
Yeah.
the contingency for
And I'm
Alex
gonna-
dodging?
Now I can really
So,
Borrow your sword
whenever
if
she's
I may?
attacked, I
Because then
roll
I'll
a battle
have-
die. If the result of
okay,
that die is a
attack,
block,
just in case
she
I need it.
entirely evades the
Yeah.
attack, rather than just
Oh,
reducing it.
is-
Yeah.
Are
Well, I
you
roll.
gonna throw
It's
up
not.
three of the movement?
So, yeah,
That's
I've got
separate
movement,
from
I've
her
got
actual damage
a shield,
reduction,
he's sharing
because her
a shield
damage
with
reduction
me.
is 3.
Okay.
So yeah.
What
And
I
I've
do
got
is I
one movement
roll
to
the
be
die,
able
and
to
it just
throw
sees it's just a
Raph
1 in 3 chance of flat out
if
evading
I
the
made it
attack.
to.
That's a separate contingency.
Damn.
Invisible Syllable wants to know: does Leo have slice and dice?
Yeah.
Appreciate
Wait,
that.
I think.
Dodge opposition.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't take it. I have double
Well
slash
done.
and leaping strike and probing attack.
What's the throwing me thing? How does
Damn.
that work?
So I just
Slash
choose
and
a
dash
friendly
would've been-
figure who's
Slice and
adjacent
dice
to
would have
me,
been so good here.
and that figure leaps up to 3 spaces in a straight line.
Pete says she doesn't hit hard, but she's super evasive.
Okay. Cool.
All right, we ready?
Has everybody done all their passing around?
Come on, Mikey.
All right.
So I have a question because well, first I can use this to re-roll something. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. So I have this hurl sai,
Mhm.
for which I need 2 of these.
Mhm.
Are you able to throw me this round? Because I don't think you need something.
I would be able to.
You
yes.
would be able to.
Depending on which way you want me to throw you.
And depending on what turn order we go into,
Mhm.
like you have to
True.
be adjacent.
True. Right. Well, we are right now.
Right.
And so, if it's possible and she doesn't dodge, could this just KO Alopex?
What's it do?
So this is a hurl size. So attack plus 3 range strike that does not weaken for the first 4 spaces.
Ooh, nice.
So it's
She has 13 hit points, so like it would have to do some serious damage. But it could take a chunk out of it.
it could
for
take
sure.
a chunk out of
Yeah.
her. So
Okay,
So you want me?
So I want you to throw me.
I'm just
right
asking.
at
Are you
her.
wanting me to throw you towards her, and then you'll throw your sai?
I think it depends on kind of how this all folds out, because I don't also want to be ultra vulnerable to everybody in the room.
Right.
Do you need 2 ranged attack
And
icons to do it? So are you going to spend a fate to re-roll one of
And
your
that
movements?
was the question that I wanted to ask. Do you guys think that's worth it?
I think I would hold on to it, man.
Okay.
I really, really do.
Yeah.
I think maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I would rethink also the throwing, because like you're not in a bad position, sort of being above. You have the high ground.
That's
Chat
true.
says, get Raph standing on the corner of the car, hurling Psy into her face, or doing ranged attacks.
That's what we're trying to do.
That's
Yeah,
kind of what
I
we're
think
trying to do.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you could
Throw
just roll it.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that would put me like
I
right
mean,
next to it.
If need be.
If need, yeah.
Why don't you spend the
If it
focus
just
and roll it and see what happens, and then.
All right.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point. I
alright,
mean,
let's
let's
just do
take
it.
the risk.
Maybe do you want to roll the whole, like all of them? Because you need
Yeah, fuck it, why
you need
not?
the 2, right?
Well, hold on, because you guys need something from me. That's the thing. The movement.
Yeah, we can renegotiate
Which-
that
so-
after
We
you
can
roll.
renegotiate it.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Don't be shitty.
Eh.
Eh.
Oh, no, it wasn't shitty.
It
you
wasn't
gotta
shitty.
you get to
It
pick
wasn't
it now.
shitty.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Oh, and
So do I keep these and then change this to whatever I want?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Plus, you get your focus back,
I
right?
do get.
Uh,
Do I?
Because you get it's a cheat.
Hmm.
No, probably not actually.
So
because
we're
you spent
only
a
at the
focus
start
point.
of round.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
no.
so Veggie Walker says it's too late to re-roll those, only at the start of round. And Pete says, what's Raph's life like? He should get a free re-roll once it's down to 5. So Raph's life is still at 13.
It's still full.
Yeah. No.
So
So then do I go back to the old roll? Which
yeah, I think that was the
If you
case.
can remember it.
It
Well,
was
I
2
guess-
movements and a shuriken.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. It was.
All right.
It was.
It was a valiant effort,
Yeah.
and I think that will.
I mean, I guess we are still at the start of round.
We are
aren't
still at the start of the round, but it didn't work out anyway. Take
Take your focus. Yeah, we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it.
You could
It's
have
fine.
switched it to the double.
That's
There is a
that's
double
well,
thing.
that's what we were gonna
Well,
do. But
that's yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
All right, whatever.
Are we ready?
We've got it. I think we're ready to start. Let's
Thug
do
we
it.
brawler.
can do this.
Okay.
This
Bring
is
it,
fine.
dweeb.
He's gonna hit me.
So
We got
the other
this.
thug brawler, the last thug brawler
Up
does
to
not
2 rounds
activate
later,
because
we're
he
all
doesn't
dead.
have line of sight on anybody.
Right.
So it's just the 2 guys are just gonna smack you up, Ryan.
I have 5 defense this time,
All right.
and holy shit, out of 5 I
Wow.
rolled 1.
All right.
So
But they only do 1 damage.
Awesome.
So you're good. They do 1 hit.
Cool. What's their secondary targeting?
Higher health.
I have 11.
I have 11.
So you guys get to choose. Chat says that we should always pick the one that is less advantageous to us. So which of you has less defense this round?
I have 5. I agree.
Also,
I would also
no, I
say
have 6 this time.
you have 6.
So then I think they should attack Ryan.
I think that works. Woof. I still just rolled 1. Holy
Okay.
crap.
Okay.
Watch the next time I roll for damage.
It'll all be
All
shells.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I think we blocked all that up.
All right.
Oh, wahoo.
I snacked on your damage.
Oh,
Nom,
no.
nom, 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 nom.
All right.
Raph's going.
Okay. So. Did we ever get an answer on the do they spawn or don't they spawn?
They don't.
They do
spawn.
not. There's no spawn point on the map for them to spawn from because there's no spawning on this map. So we do
Most-
not have to worry about that.
Most maps will have spawn points.
Mhm.
And shit will spawn every round.
That's just so good. Because we're on what, round 4? Is that true?
No,
We're on
we're
round
coming
3.
into round 3.
We're on round 3.
I'm
right
like,
now.
all right, we're running out of time
so-
to destroy Alabax.
Invisible Syllable says the first brawler that only attacks Leo would attack Leo, and then if Leo lost health, the other brawler would attack Donnie. But since you didn't lose health, the second brawler
Good call.
did that, and we went to do. So we'll try to work on Veggie Walker. We'll try to work on making more of the table visible so that people can see more of everybody's tokens and kind of things. We do have kind of a semi-limited workspace to kind of set up, so we're working on that. Any feedback you guys have for things we could work on to improve would be really great. We would love to see and hear more about like ways we can improve the play space, the flow, kind of how everything is going to work.
So what's
Okay,
your
folks.
movement?
So,
Typically, I think though, you
6.
play games that you've played before, right? So like,
Very often.
This
That'd
is
be
a
2.
little bit of a different beast because we're all new to it.
So
And next week we should be playing a game that doesn't have this much.
Yeah, that is a
setup.
bit smaller.
Sorry.
no, that's cool. So here's a question: do we want me over here in this area to help with this Disaster, or do we want me to focus my attention on Alopex specifically?
I think Alopex, because we win if she's KO'd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does attack look like on elevated terrain?
So you can't do a melee attack. You can just do a ranged attack from
Right.
elevated terrain because it's 3 squares.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no bonus except for distance.
So Veggie Walker recommends a top-down camera, so we might have to see if we can work out a solution
that'd
for
be-
yeah.
that'd be
doing
interesting.
one from above.
Maybe we
Okay.
could just get a mirror and have one. No. One being stupid. Never mind.
Okay, so can I move straight across here?
You can't move through
Can't
unless
move
they're
through.
down.
So you can go diagonally
So 1,
Yeah.
2,
3.
and we'll say
And then you
3,
can make
so
a
that-
ranged attacks on Alopex from there.
Right. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. So how many of these do I need for that?
So you're going to use the 1 star. Your attack is 2, so you get 3.
So I get 3. Okay.
Cowell.
Get wrecked.
Bunga.
Get wrecked.
Invisible
Right.
Syllable wants to know, are you guys planning on trying the Oath print and play? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
I've
I don't know what that
never
is either, man.
So tell us
Heard
all
that
about what
series
that
of
is.
words. Okay, so this is
I
think
4
that's
then?
one.
For her
Two,
defense.
three.
Oh, no. She gets to roll.
She
I'll
gets-
let you do it.
Yeah,
All
right,
right,
right.
so she gets to roll to
gets
see
a
if she
hit,
has,
Very
I know.
dodgy.
Okay.
so she doesn't dodge the attack, and then
She has a. s-
she has 3 defense. Does she roll 3 defense? It
Not
just
in cooperative.
so she reduces the
So
4
it's just-
damage by
so she
3
takes
to
1.
1.
So it
So
takes
she's
1.
from 13 to 12.
Cool.
Cool.
I am
Hooray!
Just mess it down.
Okay, so then that, that takes care of these things. Now, could I then also hop down behind her and then use these 2 close range attacks?
So to hop down without taking any fall damage would take 2
2 skateboards.
skateboards. You
Yeah.
could do it and
And then
hope
just,
to like
Like be
absorb
fine.
it, like I did earlier.
Yeah.
It's 4
but
dice of fall damage.
Yeah.
And you can defend for 3 plus a shield, so you
yeah,
can defend
I'm
for
kind
4.
of like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking I want to do that.
Do it.
So I take these 4,
Yeah.
right?
That's your damage.
That's,
I'm gonna move you.
alright, how hard does this hurt?
So that
A
hurts
little
for
hard.
2.
Not too hard.
And then you can defend. No, you can still defend, right? You roll 4. Is it 4 damage or do you roll 4 dice?
No, it's
No,
4
I think
damage.
it's-
and
Okay,
she
so you
defended
defended
too.
for 2. Gotcha.
Yeah. So she, you landed on a rock, maybe.
That's not too
Yeah,
bad.
like
Kind
maybe,
of a
I maybe
bad
like tripped a little. It's fine.
Yeah, felt like stepping on a Lego.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So now you have
And now I
still
have these 2, 3.
3. Yeah.
I mean, let's not downplay the stepping on a Lego.
That's true.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
you're right.
There are
Yeah,
wrestling
for
matches
sure.
now. Instead of using thumbtacks, they use Legos.
2 for 13. That's significant.
So then, what is how many dice do I need for this? If I have
So you have 3 for, and you have 2 for your attack plus the 3, so 5
So
total.
5. Okay. Give me double hits.
So Invisible Syllable says falling equals 4 dice damage.
Oh, so we do roll.
You do roll
Oh,
dice
Jesus
damage.
Christ.
Okay.
So that means you could have rolled. So the 2 damage you rolled previously were you rolled 2 damage, and then you can still defend for 4 to see how well you defend against it.
Roll those
So
for your
roll
defense. To
Yeah,
see if you,
roll those
to
for
see
your
if you get
defense.
any health back. You don't.
No,
You don't.
nope.
Okay,
I'm sure
so
I
you're good.
Definitely
Yeah.
don't.
You're good.
But then you hit her for 4
But
again,
then
right?
for 4, so then eat 3 and then.
No, no, no,
She has
no,
to
no,
she has to
roll
roll to
the
see if
dice.
she evades.
And
She does
doesn't.
not evade, so that's 1 more point down.
All right.
Red.
I'm just kind of like
Picking away at
poking
it.
at her.
Hey.
But you can't see me up here.
All right, Michelangelo.
All right, so
Exactly the order that we didn't want.
yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm thinking what I should do is go down here and try to take this guy out
All right.
because I have a regular skateboard and a double skateboard, so I should be able to get down.
But yes,
With no
absolutely.
problem,
We
right?
need to remember breakaway rules. It hasn't come up yet, but when we are adjacent to enemies, it takes an extra movement to break away.
To break away from
Yeah.
combat.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, except for Mikey, who ignores non-blocking terrain effects and breakaway rules.
Cool.
So-
Right.
Very good.
All right.
Alepex and
Gotta
Raph
get
have a
kids in their
serious beef.
skateboards.
I know.
So, so I'm moving here because I jumped down, right?
Okay, and then you're using that.
Or wait, I can go this.
Remember
way.
Mikey's
How do I
free
get in
move
front of
to
that
climb
guy?
down.
Or like,
Yeah,
this will be
this is
adjacent,
true.
right?
What?
I'll be adjacent here,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
To both.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to try to take this guy out so he can't be like targeting
Oh, yeah, that'd be
people
awesome.
and whatnot.
Thank you.
So,
Front says no plan.
I do have a sword.
Eastward.
So my attack, then I just have 1?
2.
2, okay.
Yeah, it's always your base plus
Where?
the.
Okay. So let's see if I do any damage. I hit him 1.
All right, his defense is 2.
Damn it.
So he blocks your damage.
Damn it.
His block isn't as cool though.
I tried.
He's probably
like a-
really douchey about it.
He's super.
He's a grown man with his hat on backwards. Like, of course it's douchey.
Well,
Actually, I don't know if he's.
I was gonna say
he
it
might
could,
be a teenager.
I was gonna say it could be Sam Rockwell because he was
Yeah,
in the movie.
totally.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
he was
canon
one of
it
the-
is Sam Rockwell. They're all Sam Rockwell.
So Invisible Syllable says Mikey needed 1 move action to reach the edge, then free 1 move action from Nimble to avoid falling. So I think that you did that right.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think you can still move though.
Yeah.
1 action to the edge, full move, and then you still have 2 move actions to
Yeah,
retreat.
move action.
And so that means you could dip back out of combat and not get attacked by that brawler.
So does that mean because Mikey used his free action to jump down, does he still be? Can he still not? Can he still ignore breakaway rules? God damn, that was hard to get out.
Moves can't be split.
He has yeah.
Yeah, I think our only question is, can Nimble still be used to get out of breakaways even if he's already used it to get a free action or free move action?
I mean, I don't think I can move anymore because I had to move to get to the edge so I could drop down.
Move to get to the edge.
Yeah.
That was your 1.
That was your
Right.
1 skateboard.
Nimble
Okay.
to get down
Okay.
leaves you your 2 skateboard, which
Okay.
would get you back up if you can break away without.
I think it says once per round, and then comma and.
Yeah,
breakaway.
if that says once per round and then comma, I think that's
Yeah,
something.
so I think you would still have to break away from both of these guys, but you have 2. Yeah, I mean you have 8 movements, so I don't think breaking away is going to be that bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I should move back up onto the top of the
Yeah, that would keep you from getting punched.
I would drop down and then jump right
I mean,
back.
basically, yeah.
I think that would work.
No, I see that.
Instead of
Sure.
spinning the 8, just using the 2 to jump back up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doing.
Well, actually, only 1 because you. Can
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. I think Chad agrees with
Well
this.
then, I guess, do you want to continue moving while you're up there, or do you want to just stay in the same place?
He can't.
I think it costs him both of his remaining skateboards to move back
Basically,
up.
he's
I see.
eating one
Okay.
of the skateboards to jump over. Okay.
It's made of pizza.
That was very.
Climbing ignores breakaway.
Oh my god.
So even that doesn't even matter at all.
That was a very Mikey turn, I think. Okay, Club Gunner.
All right.
Who unfortunately can now see you.
This is where it gets
Oh, no.
sad for me. All right, let's go.
Okay, so I would say this gunner will activate first because he's closest to his enemy, so he'll attack you for 2. Wait. Sorry. What's the deal with the gunners now? Is it just activated?
So, Thud Gunners calculate targeting priority and perform ranged strikes as a group, so they all attack the same target. The targeted figure receives hits equal to the combined total attribute. So they're going to target the highest health person that all of them can target.
Okay, so it's either Raph or Mikey, I think, here.
Well, I have higher health.
Yeah, they
That's
target the
fine.
highest
You
health.
have 12.
Can
Okay.
this guy see you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
like right through the corner here.
Okay.
Okay, so they're going to attack for 4.
Yeah, they're going to attack. Each of them is going to attack twice for 2 damage. Because there's just 2 of them, they combine each of their hits for 2.
Okay.
So you're going to have 4 attacks of 2 coming your way.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, you get to roll defense twice.
Reggie Walker seems to think that the left gunner does not have line of sight. On
My left or your left?
I assume this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, left
Oh,
gunner
because
can't
it's
see
going
Mikey.
through the. It's going
Right,
through
so
that
he
elevator,
needs to
right.
move if he wants to attack Mikey, or would then because they're
Or
gonna their
would they
targeting
then-
priority is going to be as a group.
Yeah, so it would be me then, because they can both see me.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with
I
that.
think that's
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Okay.
so there you
Sorry.
I mean, that's chill.
go.
I'll beat him up.
Do it.
You've only got 1 extra shell. Okay.
All right. I
So
sure
4.
do. So
So you'll roll it. Sorry, we have 4 attacks going 2 against you. So
I'm rolling 4 dice.
yeah, 4 times.
Okay.
We'll help you keep track. You block both. So
Okay.
no damage on the first attack.
Okay. That's perfect.
1 damage on the second.
Sad pizza.
This was good. Pizza. One down and a third. 2 out of 6 ain't bad.
Wow.
And 2.
That's rough, buddy.
So 4 out of 6 kind of sucks.
Yeah, 4 to 6 blows.
But you're almost to the
That's true. I'm
the 5.
almost.
So
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
The threshold there. Okay. That's 2 Thug Gunners down. Leonardo. Time to do something.
What you gonna do?
When it come for you.
That was. Yep. Yes.
I guess I'll keep that one because I'm rolling out for Alapex. Sorry to reach across this.
Okay, I'm gonna save that for Alex.
So the man dog, we would cheat, but we have one of the guys who created the game in chat, so we're gonna try not to do that. Like I know no one would. He might know if we did or not. So
I think you get
That's
spotted. Okay, so I am going. God damn it! I've only got the big attack, and I don't really want to waste it on the dude who's almost dead. I kind of want to get this foot ninja out of here. So I'm going to attack a Foot ninja for 3. And I'm
all right, the foot ninja has 2 block and he has 2 health.
so I need 4 at least to kill him.
That is not 4.
I'm gonna spend a focus and re-roll that.
Okay,
That was awful.
that is 3, so
So
that
take
does
1.
1 damage.
Yeah.
So here, I'll give you a little
give me one
pizza
of
token.
Pete's.
A little bad guy. Little bad guy pizza token. There's a little bad guy pizza token.
I can't move really. So
Pete is
Oh, I
a
could
cheater
move.
too. He put Pigeon Pete in the game.
I'm gonna use my 2 movement to jump back up on top of the. It did the backflip on top of the train,
Nice.
and that's it for me.
All right, who's up?
Foot ninja.
Horrifying.
We have 3 movements,
I'm terrified.
2 damage. So how many do we have here?
intimidating than
1,
a
2,
fruit
3.
ninja.
This guy would move
Slightly.
Slightly.
1.
I think that guy's knife skills probably aren't.
So
as
I want to give everybody a fair warning. It is 3:40.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
our time is rapidly
Yeah.
running
I
down
don't think we're gonna have
for
time
people's
to finish
class.
Maybe we can finish this round and see.
Yeah,
where
I
we're
think
at.
we
Yeah.
finished this
Yeah.
turn. We may not be able to finish this particular game,
This went by
but
really fast. We were like
But we
planning to do
could-
3 of these.
yeah.
Just-
We could
That's
always take pictures
Yeah.
totally.
of the board
Yep.
and revisit this at a later
Definitely.
I
Absolutely.
agree, because I would like to finish this and maybe play another campaign sometime.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I love
time.
this
Yeah, I
game.
like this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, he has 3 movements, right? This is 1. I'm not sure I did this, but okay. 1 to move out of damage. Can he then get on top of this with 2 more movements?
I
don't think he can, right? Because it costs 2 move icons to jump up. So like he's just kind of stuck here.
Not very ninja.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. So maybe he wouldn't have gone to me then because he can't reach me.
So why bother?
So that would have been
So would it be
1,
me?
2, 3, 4. He can't. This is the best. He's. I would imagine he would go to Raph.
Yeah.
Because I'm out of range.
I would assume so.
Couldn't he 1, 2,
Well, he was here. He
Oh.
did 1, 2.
and then that would
And
put
then
him at 3?
He could
Yeah.
do 3.
Okay.
So I like either one. Yeah, I guess you're
Yeah.
right though. No, because they're not gonna block other. They're not gonna block other bad guys from getting there.
And they can't jump over each other?
They can't jump over each other.
Wow. They're
Unless-
not very agile at all.
So 1, 2.
So, for the record, climbing is not a movement. Climbing is an action
Right. Yeah.
that costs 2 of your skateboard icons.
So how would an enemy climb?
yeah, how does an enemy climb?
It's okay.
We'll play it like this for right now, but I
Okay.
think that's good. Okay, so Foot Ninja's gonna attack Raph for 2. You get to roll whatever it was that you rolled.
So my defense is 2 plus
No,
4.
it's 3.
Oh, okay. Good. So I get 5. Correct?
Yep. Wait, 4 because you have 1 shield.
Goodbye.
I got it.
And now it's gone.
I got it.
Got it? You got it? Got
Yeah,
it?
go ahead and
Okay.
roll it. I got it.
Okay.
So okay, you block both. Cool.
God.
I'm not sure that maybe that Foot Ninja sees Mike through this guy.
Carl finally gets his mask fixed.
Yeah. Oh, there's a turtle there.
what
the hell?
What did he get here?
They were doing like, I don't know, exercises where he had blindfolds on.
No, he's had his
He's
mask
had his
on.
mask
They were
on.
just like,
Well, that's Carl.
That's
Carl
wrong.
doesn't know how to put his mask on properly.
When you hire.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for the ninjas. Alopex
All right.
will, I would say, move.
Destroy us, probably.
Right.
Oh no, she's up here by me.
Oh,
no!
What's her? She is going to attack the lowest health.
Yes, lowest health.
Pretty sure that's me.
At 7. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree
this
with
is
that.
me saying, oh no.
Oh yeah. Okay, so she'll attack you. Oh, actually, if she does that though, she can't.
Why would she
can't.
move?
Can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't move. She would just stay right where
I
she
think
is.
she would hit you and
Yeah.
then move.
dick.
So she'll attack you for 2.
So Alopex gets to attack Raph with each of her actions.
Could you not?
That's right.
Could you just as easily
just
not do that?
twice.
She can attack twice and then still get to move the once.
Alopex may perform 2 move actions per turn.
This was just so.
So I don't know if that means
plan.
she can attack 3 times.
We didn't go see
So
Steel Team
chat
6.
seems to think
Yeah,
that she
I
would
think so.
attack
You
3
should've
times.
just thrown me.
She attacks 3 times or
She,
moves.
she would attack 3
Okay,
times.
let's do it.
I
Alright,
can't believe
Goodbye,
you
friends.
did that.
It's been really fun.
We believe in you.
Woo.
Ow!
Oh no.
Belief
So
rescinded.
good.
Well, the good
It was-
news is that she only hits you for 2, so like you don't have to take all that damage.
I'd be dead.
Well, then she's going to attack twice more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
But she rolled
So
like 9
5
hits.
or below, he no longer needs to pay. That literally does nothing for me. Oh, I get. Pay. So these are my battle dice.
No, these are your battle dice.
Oh. Fucking help.
Right?
Yeah, that's what Pete said
You
earlier.
shielded for 2.
All right, so you block that attack, and you got 1 more coming.
Actually, no. What you were rolling are your battle attack. These are your action die.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So because I'm at 5 health or below, I can re-roll these when defending or attacking
Cool.
for funsies.
Alright, so
Well,
is
I
this a
can pay.
reroll?
I can pay, or I don't have to pay focus. No, this is
She
just the next one.
blocked
Okay.
I blocked the last.
Oh, good.
one.
But you're gonna
Reroll
re-roll this
that.
I
one.
sure am. what
Take
made
that
you
lying
think that
down.
that was the plan?
Cool.
All right.
Hooray!
So
Yay.
it's once per turn. Is that how that works?
It doesn't say that
When
specifically.
Raph is so just I guess.
When Raph's life is 5 or below, he no longer needs to pay focus to re-roll his battle dice when attacking or defending.
Rad. It would be once per like instance, right? Like once you re-roll it,
I
you're
would
stuck with
assume
it.
Yeah.
so.
But
yeah.
yeah, it's cool that you can just do it over and over.
Okay. So
I
let's
should
finish
never
off.
have
We
jumped
got a
down
couple
there.
more little.
Yep. Donatello.
Okay, cool. I'm going to attack
Alopex.
Alopex for
Get
4
her.
because
Try to
I
do
have
11
your
damage.
gun.
That would be really awesome.
Okay, so I have
really
4.
scary.
I'm gonna do my best.
Veggie Walker says about Raph, you get 1 free reroll per attack you defend from, and 1 free reroll per attack you make.
Cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's really rad.
So I'm nearly dead, but that's my secret weapon.
It's a little
It's
super
like
rad.
Raph going into berserker mode.
For
It
5.
is enraged, yeah.
Roll to see if she dodges.
That's a dodge.
Cool. Okay.
Damn. All right. You gonna do anything else?
Um,
Can you do anything else?
I
I
can
don't,
go
I
ahead
don't know that I
and
like this
hop up here.
Alopex, guys. I don't know that I like
100%.
her.
100%.
My skateboard.
She keeps scaring the shit out of me every time I just.
All right.
Thug brawlers. Ooh, I've got
An
bad
attempt
news,
was made.
Raphael.
Yeah, it's being dead. That's the bad news.
So he'll attack you for 2.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, we do. Don't worry, I'll just die quickly.
So they only do 1, so you
So you
block,
block
that,
that
one.
one.
And then they attack.
Okay.
They had to move to get into position,
Yep.
so they can't attack a second time. And then
So
this
did
one's.
I survive that?
Yeah, and now you'll roll
Yeah,
again.
now you're gonna get attacked again.
Everybody's coming after him.
surrounded. You blocked.
They're like, we know he's the tough one. We gotta take him out.
All right.
All right, I think this has to be a to be continued.
Yeah.
It's the end of the round.
Thanks so much for tuning
Yeah.
we really
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
This was
everybody
really fun.
taking
Yeah,
some
Great
it was
time
great.
to tune in. Thanks all for watching our inaugural episode of board
Yeah.
meeting.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
to all of my lovely players and our chairman of the board for bringing the game.
Absolutely.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will take pictures of this and set up. We will let you guys know via our usual channels when we're planning on playing this again. It may not be next week, but it could be very soon.
Totally.
You can tune in to see board meeting every week, Thursday from 2 to 4 Central Time. Next week, what are we playing?
So next week, because the Oscars are coming up, we're playing some movie-themed games. We're playing Cinephile, which is a great card game, and Double Feature, which is another great card game. And then the week after that, we're planning on doing some romance-themed games to coincide with Valentine's Day.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Love Letter?
Love Letter
Yeah.
and probably Tofu Kingdom, which I know you two
Tofu
are
Kingdom.
fans of.
We love that. And then
Big
this
fan of that game.
this stream will be up on YouTube today. I will make sure it gets taken up so you guys can spread that around. Maybe send that to other people on the Facebook channel and other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thanks a
We
lot.
really appreciate
Bye,
it.
folks.
Good night.
Bye.